Welcome to another episode of Issues and Insights. I'm Bryce Shoemate from Hardin County Government, and I've got three great folks that you all will know very well from our community, and it's our mayors from the three largest towns. And we want to give this little bit out. Mayor from West Point was unable to be with us, so Mayor Ash, we hope that everything goes well with the event that you're at today, and so we will miss him today. Welcome to our show. Glad to have y'all. And man, you all are hot items because you've been at the Chamber of Commerce luncheon, and my understanding is you're at the Radcliffe
Small Business
Alliance this next week.
Tuesday.
And now you're here. So I mean, hot commodity.
Depending on when somebody sees this.
Well, it's the first of the year. They want to know if we did anything last year and what we have planned for this
exactly. And you know, JJ and I got together years ago, and every year we talked about we would love for the mayors of the cities to be able to get together every year and talk about things that happened in the last year and things that they were looking forward to the next year. So
we didn't have that before. I mean, not to say that, but that camaraderie, you know, and getting together wasn't always happening.
And it started when you and Tim Walker and Blake Prophet were elected into positions, and you know that camaraderie I think started then.
Yeah. Yep.
Trying to get it started off because I know this is a 30-minute show and we all like to talk.
That's a fact.
You know, we look at this last year and it's been a rough year with COVID and coming out of COVID, although we've had a little bit more freedoms this past year than we did the previous year when we talked. But Mayor Gregory, and I forgot to introduce everybody. If y'all don't know him, I don't know what's going on here, but I want to introduce our panel. Mayor Jeff Gregory from the city of Elizabethtown, Mayor Pam Ogden from the city of Vine Grove, and Mayor J.J. Duval from the city of Radcliffe. Mayor Gregory, looking at things that happened through this last year, can you give me kind of maybe a highlight of this last year, something that sticks out in your mind that happened this last year in the city of Elizabethtown that you're just very proud of, you love?
Well, we're continuing to reinvest in our community. And one of the things that we highlighted this past year, and I think people will see, most of it came to fruition last year, but the other projects we'll finish up this year, is we really invested in our parks. And so we put a new lakeside trail, blacktop trail in Freeman Lake Park that everybody seems to really enjoy and really seems to be getting a lot of use. Matter of fact, it's one of the few things that we've done in my 3 years that I've gotten zero complaints about. Everybody's been pleased with that one. We also put a bridge on the north end down there by the north side of the Freeman Lake parking lot that's kind of hidden back in the woods, but was a very important part to our trail system. That was about a $160,000 bridge to go with the other two bridges there on the north end. So we were very proud to be able to get that in. We're also going to expand that parking lot up there. And then we'll go back to Funtopia up at American Legion Park, which was a Leathers construction project that was put in place around 2001. So it was about 20 years old. And when I say Leathers, that's a company that makes playgrounds out of wood. And so that wood had gotten to where it was in a little bit of a rough shape. We had some people come in and do an inspection on the playground. They deemed it unsuitable for use moving forward, so we had to move quick because that's a popular place in our community.
Oh yeah.
And
my kids loved it growing
everybody
up.
loves Funtopia, and we actually took proposals and bids from multiple companies, and we landed with a company called Miracle of Kentucky and Tennessee, and they came in and designed a new Funtopia that will probably be open mid-March to 1st of April. We'll do a grand opening there, and it's just amazing, and it's almost 95% ADA accessible, so everybody can use it. So to answer your question, and we invested heavily in our parks. We also added $500,000 in blacktop to our budget, so we were able to hit a lot of the city streets that needed some help. But the biggest thing that we navigated was COVID, obviously, and we were proud of the way that we handled that, and we're able to keep our services where everybody expects.
Well, if Kim can keep her leg from breaking and I get a new knee here this next month, we're looking forward to the trails there at Freeman Lake. Mayor Ogden, same question. Highlight from this last year, something that you loved, something that just went great. Give us something that was a highlight of this last year.
I'm going to go a different direction. So we actually invested some money into our City Hall building. Everybody knows our City Hall building was horrible, and we did some painting on it, and we did some remodeling on the inside. Not a whole lot, but just enough to get us by till we figure out what we're doing with the building. And then I'm going to go a different direction. And we did some work in our parks, and we've done some work in our entire city. But the thing I'm most proud of is we did Christmas for the Kids this year, and we combined our Dickens, and we raised the most amount of money we've ever raised. We're at $22,000 now. We still have people coming in donating, so we raised $1,000. So that's the most. Yeah, everybody had a great time. It was a huge. I couldn't even walk through City Hall. There were so many people there, and that's the first time I've ever seen that many people. We had things going outside, inside. People were everywhere. People were excited.
Good too, that day.
Yeah, the weather was perfect. It was like 60 degrees.
I mean, because you all had an event going on.
They had it the same night. So I mean, it was great. And we raised, like I said, the most amount of money, and we probably had the least amount of auction items. But it was huge, and I mean, people still donate to it. So, and then we've had some different things that our police department has, and our fire department. Our fire department's kind of stole from Radcliffe, but ours is better. But anyways, the Santa tour with the fire department, and we do that with 4 days. Our city's smaller, so it just takes us 4 days, and that was amazing. And then our police department would put together baskets this year of food, and they took vouchers for food to anybody that was recommended that needed some help. And I went with them that day, and that is really a cool feeling to help people.
And it's very eye-opening, too.
It is. And I didn't go last year, but I was able to go this year, and people are just so grateful, and it was an amazing event. That was probably the best thing that happened all year. So.
Mayor Duval, same question to you. Highlight from this last year, and talk about something that you either loved or...
we all know, you mentioned a minute ago about 2020, 2021, trying to get back in the swing of things. And obviously, like Jeff said, quality of life was a big thing because we knew people were so cooped up so long, and they needed to get out of the house, they needed to do things. And so, we looked at our park system as well, and looked about how we could update. We did a lot of updates at Duval Ballpark, cleaning up our ballpark, adding new fencing, making our leagues and everything feel a little bit more involved in what we were doing there in our park system. Saunders Springs obviously has always been a gem that we've had. We made sure that our trails were all updated. We've been working very close with the chairman, Vince, there, who does a great job, Carmen. And so we did a lot of work trying to make sure that our quality of life was there for people to get out and get out and explore. One of the things I think was a highlight for us was our resource center. Obviously, when the Hardin County government, Hardin County Clerk's office moved back to Elizabethtown and closed that, I mean, it's been there ever since I was there, and I'm 42. Bryce is probably, it's probably been there at least 45 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
At least?
At least.
And so we actually turned that into a computer resource center, offering free internet, free computers, free printing, copy, fax, everything like that. And then when we found out that the Cradle School was going to be moving and needed a place to go because of lack of space, we offered that free space to them, and we're able to bring the Cradle School onto the other side of the resource center, and it all just fell in really nicely, and it all really worked really well. So those are probably some things, other than some budget items and stuff, that we were able to do was probably a good thing for our community this past year.
That's awesome. Some great things that we've got going on in all three communities. And, as we look into this next year, I know all three of you all have projects that you are looking into. So, Pam, I'm going to start with you this time.
Okay.
Most important project for the next year that you have upcoming?
The most important project we have upcoming, which we've already started, is our stormwater utility. That's something the city's never had before, and we are investing $3 million into our stormwater utility. So that's our huge project for this year. That's going to change a lot of people's issues that they've had for many years. So I'm pretty excited about that. I don't think a lot of our citizens never thought that this would happen. So that's our biggest thing that we have going on this year. And we have several other projects, but that's probably the biggest one.
Okay. Mayor Duval?
I got a couple, but one I think is going to be big. We were donated a building to the city. It's a former Furniture Liquidators FFO building. The owner of that, obviously, he gets a little tax break, obviously, but he basically donated a $700,000 building to the city. It's about 18,000 square feet. And so over the next few months, we're going to be working with community and having some open forums so people can come in, take a look at the building. But I think our ultimate goal there is to have a place similar to Pritchard, where you have an indoor basketball court, a youth center, a youth area, and then also rental space for larger events. Not we don't want to compete against our small venues, but our larger venues, I think, is one. Another one, Mill Pond Business Park is another item. Jeff hammered it home the other day at the chamber luncheon about how big this Ford, which I know he's going to touch on, but what Ford and that SK or the blue oval down there is going to mean, that battery plant for our community. Ever since that announcement happened, we've been having a lot of interest in our Mill Pond Business Park for our closeness to where Glendale site is. And I think that's going to be something we're going to work on. And then finally, probably going to be Red Mar. We're almost there, a little deep breath, but we've been pushing for Red Mar for the last 2 years, getting through the process that the state requires for such a large development when it comes to the TIF district. And hopefully we'll be able to finalize that within the next few months to know if that project's going to be something that's going to eventually happen. So.
And a very cool thing about that building that was donated to you, you maybe don't know this, but back when I was running around,
I heard this. Yeah.
This was, the Waldmans had that as a place where video games and all kinds of entertainment center for young people.
Yes, I didn't remember it, but I've heard
many
that.
years ago.
And then you had the water slide next to it.
Exactly, and that was Jeff England's father's water slide, so very cool. Mayor Gregory, again, same question. What's that project that is very important for the city of Elizabethtown this next year?
Well, one that's the most important and is very exciting for me, and as you all know, our community, not just Elizabethtown, but the Hardin County in this region is on fire. We're on fire with people wanting to move here. We're on fire with businesses and industries wanting to relocate here. And because of that, the city of Elizabethtown has 330 employees. And we wanted to make sure that we can continue to provide quality service to our citizens. So what we did is we hired a consulting firm to come in and look at our compensation and our pay for our city employees. And so we had a group called the Hannah Group from Louisville come down, and we hired them to come in and look and see where we ranked with other municipalities and even outside businesses and industry. And they found that 69% of our employees were paid under market rate.
Wow.
So in that study, they also tell us the figures that each individual job and job description, where they need to come in the pay scale. So they've given us those numbers, and I don't mind to say it's going to cost the city of Elizabethtown between $3.4 and $4 million annually moving forward to get all of our employees to market rate. And that's okay. We're proud to do that. We want to do that. And the reason that I'm telling you that is because with all these industries moving in and all these new businesses opening up,
Exactly.
it's going to be a competition for skilled people and skilled laborers and operators and people that will work. So we want to make sure that we're covering our bases and paying what we're supposed to be paying our people for the great job that they do. And so we're hoping to have that wrapped up by April of this year.
And Mayor, I think that all three cities will see that same competition there, as will county government. And that's
Sure.
one thing that worries all of us, when you drive down through and you see several industries that are advertising for help and they're paying many times more, and you see Hobby Lobby off for $18.50 an hour
You got
for
it.
folks, you start to worry, how am I going to be able to retain my employees to provide services?
Sure, and it's not hard for businesses or government or anybody to get behind on that number. I mean, it's something that you have to really pay attention to annually, and we haven't done it for a few years. It was one of the things that we campaigned on. Councilman Virgil Willoughby did a great job of pushing the effort, and we were able to get that group in there and figure out where our people need to fit in the pay scale, and we're going to get them the money that they deserve and then keep up with it annually to hope to be able to compete with everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mayor Duval, I'm going to ask you this question, looking again ahead to the new year, and we're in it now. As we're filming this, it's January 14th, and we're all worried about a snowstorm that's coming in. But hopefully, by the time y'all watch this, it won't be anything. So, concerns of the new year.
It's like, our city. It's we don't have a large budget to operate off of. So anytime we have some, we were fortunate over the past year to, during COVID, obviously, some jobs came open. People either left through retirement, took another job, and a lot of our employees, all three of us really appreciate all our employees and the hard work that they do. Most of our employees have 3, 4, 5 different jobs. You remember what that was like, Bryce? You remember that,
I wore
don't you?
many hats.
And and so we were able to save quite a bit of money that helped us roll over some good reserve money that helped pay off some debt, that freed up money. And so over the next year, it's going to be making sure that we're financially sound. I mean, initially that's what we're elected for, is the operation and executive of the city, to make sure we're spending the dollars that we have in a correct and fair manner. And so in my case, at least with the city, we want to make sure that we're budgeting, we're spending money where we need to, but we're keeping the operations of the city moving forward in a positive direction. Obviously, some of our taxes compared to some of our sister cities here is a little bit higher than what's, probably what E-Town's paying and what Vine Grove's paying. And so we want to make sure, and then we're also having to meet, which we all have probably talked about in a while, the retirement obligation, and what that means to us, and how much that affects our bottom line. And so doing all that and making sure that we're keeping business and income coming in is probably going to be a main focus of mine over the next couple of years.
And what people don't realize with all three of you all is you've got two different retirement systems. You've got hazardous duty retirement, which is much more, that takes a commitment from you all.
It's 52% now.
Yeah, it's around 52,
way up.
and I think the other's in the 30s.
Right.
crazy.
So it makes it an extreme hardship nowadays.
And was that number you threw out including the retirement, like total? That you're probably, I mean, that's, if you back probably retirement out of that number probably dropped.
Right.
Well, we figure every employee that we have, their package at $1.60. So for every dollar, we add 60 cents for benefits and retirement.
So that just.
Mayor
it's-
Gregory, same question. Your concerns for the new year?
Infrastructure would be, I wouldn't call it a concern, but it's something that I am anxiously awaiting to see how it plays out. And to JJ's point with the new plant, Blue Oval SK, 3.5 miles south of Elizabethtown, there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to have to quickly, yesterday, put in place. Housing being one of them, we're not going to be able to get enough, I'm afraid. We're going to be scrambling every way that we can, because by summertime of this year and then by December, they expect to have 2,000 people down there working on that site. Imagine that. 2,000 people that are going to be down there for 2 or 3 years, and then they're going to leave and a whole nother group of people are going to come. But obviously that site's in the county, so the county and state are going to have a lot of irons in the fire, but we want to be able to help them any way that we can. So road infrastructure, housing, we're going to have a part in the wastewater. Our wastewater plant's going to probably take whatever waste comes out of those factories or those plants down there in Glendale. So we just want to make sure that we have our ducks in a row and be good community partners with the state and with the county, who have both done a great job and have worked. We've all worked well together. But more than anything, we just want to make sure that we're prepared for what we're about to see just south of us.
And I think it's great to add in here that our Deputy Judge Daniel London has been a great partner.
Absolutely.
And you all work so well together. With them, he's not here with us because we were making this the mayor's forum, but I think it's important to note that.
Oh yeah, Judge Barry's been great. Dan London's been great. We always look forward to working with them. The three of us, as you know, work well together. But really, Bryce, it's about checking those egos, and none of us.
Exactly.
We're pushing forward for the community and the region. It's not about our respective cities all the time. And if everybody gets together, then that team's just that much stronger.
And you're exactly right, because I think in years past, a lot of people felt that way. It maybe wasn't that way when it got right down to it, but a lot of people felt that way. And to see the four of y'all, counting Daniel London, the four of y'all getting along so well and working together and communicating, that's the key part. Communicating together is so very important. Mayor Ogden, same question that I've posed the other two gentlemen.
Yes.
The rose between two thorns here. Concerns again for the new year.
He repeated it for me. Since I've been elected, my biggest concern every year has been finances. We have a very small budget, so I have to make that stretch as far as we can. There's so many things that need to be done in Vine Grove that it's hard. You can't do it all at once. I'd love to. We just can't. We just don't have enough money to do that. So it's figuring out what's most important and moving forward from there. And, I think another thing with this upcoming year, with everything that's been going on for the last 2 years, is keeping our staff healthy. We are small. We have like 35 employees. And I mean, if COVID gets in one of our, groups, it's going to hurt. So, trying to keep them healthy, which we've done really well. And I think all of us have done really well considering what's been going on. Our employees respect each other and they know that, they can't be sick. So, it's been, and we've actually started an economic advisory committee. Vine Grove's known as a residential community, but I'd still like to have some small places down there. We've had some open up. I think 313 is a huge opportunity for somebody to come to Vine Grove, and I'm just waiting for it to happen. So that's why we started the advisory committee, so we could kind of draw people to Vine Grove. Residential is great, and that's where we focus. But with everything that's going on in Ratcliffe and E-Town and everywhere, I think it's an opportunity for all of us to grow. So I'm looking forward to that.
And I've got to commend all three of you all and your folks in emergency services. This last week we had our first snowstorm, and it stressed emergency services in all three cities, the county. But I stayed down in 911 that whole day on Thursday, constantly talking to Amy Inman, sitting off of the camera here. Amy and I were talking constantly, Mayor Gregory, and trying to keep everybody informed. We had wrecks out on I-65, and at one time Radcliffe Rescue was there because Elizabethtown Rescue was in another place, and Vine Grove was working another wreck with the semi truck and so on. But I did not, and usually when you have a lot of things going on, and Jeff, we remember this from our days, sometimes people will get a little bit gruff because they're anxious and they're upset because of things that are going on. I never heard the first harsh word of any of our cities working together in the county. I never heard the first, I got to go to another call. I never heard any of that. And as we were coordinating, and then we got a 35-car pileup on the WK, and things were happening in those cities. There were 81 EMS runs to all of your all cities during that time. But we never heard the first grumble. We never heard the first gripe.
I remember seeing one come up, said breathing assistance, and that's when they were all out. And I was just thinking to myself, I wonder how they're responding to this. It's
well. I've got to say, your all's fire departments do a fabulous job.
They do
in helping EMS, and that's not to say the police don't, but
right.
We respond.
Fire and EMS work so much more together. That I want to thank you all personally for your all's fire department's aid in helping us be able to get out and make sure that our citizens not only are taken care of, but we're able to get them to the hospital and so on. Because when it gets bad weather like this, it makes it hard for emergency services to get there.
Well, Bryce, you've done this a long time, and you and I worked together for a long time. But at the end of the day, it's not about boundaries; it's about people.
Exactly.
And especially in an event like that, everybody just chips in, and doesn't matter what your patch says. You go where the help's needed, and I think that's what you're getting at. And that's something special that we have here in this community.
Yeah.
Our guys are volunteers.
Right.
And I have never seen, it's so crazy to watch them because, man, when that radio goes off, they're all running. It's so crazy. I mean, they're not getting paid.
It's in their blood.
And Mayor, a lot of people don't know that are watching this show right now that we actually have 12 volunteer fire departments and 2 full-time fire departments, one in Radcliffe, one in Elizabethtown. The rest of them are volunteer. You do have a couple of full-time people, but
I have a chief that is full-time.
And Sam's kind of full-time, but he's one of
he
your,
doesn't get paid.
That's right. So
he's my volunteer.
He just like a full-time person.
Yeah.
So in saying all that, it makes a big difference when you have volunteer folks.
And something else, just want to add to that, because obviously the road crews, because they couldn't get there.
Absolutely.
I mean, and we all go out with them, we all go and visit with them and stuff. And we've all, I think we all have, but I've drove the snow truck before and spent hours in it.
They don't allow me to do that.
Well, I didn't want to throw you under the bus.
I did when I was chief in Vine Grove, believe it or not.
But when you sit there all day and it's a very mundane. You're just sitting there, you're scraping. You're constantly having to watch stuff. So you don't
got that little joystick there.
You don't hit in a car or a mailbox and all that stuff. And while you are sitting in the car, it is. I mean, you got to remember, you're just sitting there and you're doing the same thing over and over, clearing the same roads and stuff. And so we also want to thank them.
I'm glad you brought that up. One last parting shot from me is people need to understand when we have a snow event like that, when you get 8-9 inches in 3 or 4 hours, it's not about seeing blacktop again. It's about clearing the road enough where emergency vehicles can get through, because we want everybody else at home. We want our emergency vehicles just to be able to navigate that. Everybody else stay home. So the calls that we get a lot of times, well, they didn't get all the snow off my street. That wasn't the intent.
Right.
So that's we want to make sure that we're clear on that. And I know Amy tells them every year, but people forget that sometimes.
And the more salt that we put on there, the more it tears up the asphalt, because salt breaks down asphalt.
It does.
And people don't realize that. Like you said, they
Right.
want to get down to the asphalt, and it's hard to do that, especially with the temperatures we're going to start to see. I hate to tell you all this in the next couple of weeks, because we're going to get a polar vortex probably somewhere around the 20th. So Amy and I'll be talking even more. But it's great. It's refreshing to see how well not only you all get along, but our employees from all the governments. In fact, we're down 10 people at the county road department because they're out with COVID. And we actually have people coming from all other departments in the county government, and even some volunteers to help us to make sure that we're able to keep roads clear or scraped somewhat during this next event.
And I think you all will say the same as CDL drivers are a premium right now.
Yes.
So if you're looking for a trade, go get your CDL. They're in demand.
That's right. That's right. Or EMTs. If there are any EMTs out here right now that are watching this show, please put your application in at hardincounty.gov. You know, and we all have fire department openings right now too. So, you know, I knew our time would go by fast. They'd give me the 3-minute warning, and I knew. Any parting comments on anybody?
Jeff, you want?
I already took my parting shot, but I just
Go ahead, JJ.
What do I got? Go ahead, Jeff.
I just want to say it's always a pleasure to come in here and get to sit with these two, and we miss Billy Ash. He's an important part of what we do in Hardin County as well. Wish he could have been here, but we live in a great community, and like I said, it's on fire. As the governor said, it's electric right now.
Right.
So
birds are dying all over.
I knew you were going to
Mayor,
bring that up.
let's go back. You've got a breakfast coming up.
I got a breakfast coming up. I couldn't
Yeah,
help
let's
it.
don't talk about the birds.
No.
You got a breakfast coming up.
He's always trying to sabotage.
Yeah, I know. He is.
All right. Well, what are you asking me, Bryce?
Well, breakfast coming up. Concentrate.
Um,
JJ.
February 19th, Mayor's Breakfast. All of us are planning to be there. Unless
Well,
something
I
comes up.
was going to.
Yeah.
And it's at
Maybe I'll
Calvin
play with
Community
It's at
Center.
Calvin Community Center, February 19th. I think we open the doors at 8.
And it's free.
And it's free. And we've been doing it now, I think it's 10 years. We would have been 11, but last year we didn't have one. But yeah, come out,
Billy
visit
Ashton?
with us. Billy's supposed to be there.
I've actually got a
There
photograph of me sitting with Ashley's nieces and nephews. I had brown hair, and we're
Oh,
sitting there in an ATV where we were
long time
carrying
ago.
everybody up to the
It's been long-
front
it's been
door.
long- it's been
It's a
long.
long time ago. Everybody's going, well, you got white hair now. Yeah, it's a long
you
It
know,
don't take long for
it's
that
an
white to come
opportunity.
out.
We've done it. We got to do it at least in 19 together, and we started this when like you said, Tim, Mitt, Blake, and all of us came together. And so it's a fun time. Come out, breakfast foods, door prizes. We have a good time with it.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us here on Hardin County Education and Community TV, where we try to keep you up to date on everything that's going on in this big community that we call Hardin County. And as you can see through our 3 guests, there are no boundaries here. It is absolutely open. There's no boundaries in a lot of things, but it is actually open, and we're so tickled that everybody gets along so well and works so well together and stay in contact. Stay in touch with us here at Hardin County Education Community TV, because we'll also keep you up to date on what's going on in your students' life in the Hardin County school system. I'm Bryce Shoemate from Hardin County Government. You all stay safe out there. We're going to have more snow days. Winter is over with real soon, I hope. Another 90 days. So have a good day. Bye-bye.